It's Monday night. Welcome to Monday Night Comics. Only on Comics with Dan. Welcome to Monday Night Comics. Welcome to Comics with Dan. This is the show where I basically just ramble on for about an hour about what books I read and what books are coming out soon. So, welcome. And I don't have a ton of stuff that I read in the last week, but I think we can still probably find some good stuff to talk about. The one thing I wanted to try in this particular episode is I want to put a banner across the bottom of the screen that will invite viewers to kind of come on and voice opinions that might be opposite of mine, right? So the first one that I want to put on here, I'm calling it Change My Mind, right? Flagship books like Batman and Amazing Spider-Man should be for all ages. I really think that, I mean, and you can include like Superman or Wonder Woman in that, right? Like, I think that, you know, it should be a book that will appeal to adults and children, right? And I think that we've gotten kind of far away from that. And I think all these books are always trying to be like edgier and perhaps maybe even have like, you know, Detective Comics being for all ages, and then Batman being for a older age group, right? Or it doesn't have to be exactly like that, but something like that, right? Where one of the mainline books where things can tie into what's happening, it should be accessible to kids, right? And because that's going to be the best way to continue the comics industry, is getting kids interested. And if we can't do that, then, there's not going to be a lot of comics left for people to read. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen here. Actually, first, before we dive into what I'm planning on talking about for majority of the show here, I want to talk about this Humble Bundle. And I posted this on my Blue Sky and on my Twitter that if you haven't heard of Humble Bundle, it's basically it from a comic standpoint. They release these bundles of digital comics, and you pay this crazy low price, and it goes to help a charity, right? And so, like in this particular case, like you can adjust your donation, right? So for this, it's 20 different Usagi Yojimbo books, right? And so to be clear, this is the Usagi Yojimbo saga, right? Which means that these, like this book here, this volume 1, is like 600 pages, right? And reminder, these are all digital, right? But like it's basically every single issue of Usagi Yojimbo. I mean, each one of these saga volumes is like 500-600 pages, right? So really incredible. Just a fantastic deal. And then on top of that, right, like I said, it supports a charity. So in this particular case, it supports a very specific comics charity called the Hero Initiative, right? And the Hero Initiative, and it says here, the first ever federally chartered not-for-profit or corporation dedicated strictly to helping comic book artists and craftsmen in need. So obviously we had the legendary Peter David pass recently, and I believe that he had the Hero Initiative supporting him at a certain point with his health issues. So obviously, a little sad that these legends, after all they contributed to the industry, need this, right? But it's regardless of whether that's the case, the hero initiative is there for them. So that's obviously a great charity to donate to. And so if you look here, you can adjust the donation. The default donation sends 13.75 to Dark Horse, $1.25 to the Hero Initiative, and $10 to Humble Bundle. But you can customize it to whatever you want. Now, Humble Bundle needs from this particular one at least 750, right? But I could make it so that the other 1750 of a total $25 donation, right, would go to the Hero Initiative, right? Now, to get the items, you only need to pay 18, so you could do 1260. But even then, you could do $35 to kind of add to that, and you know, it would take the donation to Hero Initiative up to $25. And like you maybe want to send some money, Dark Horse's way, just because they're the publishers of the book and everything. But and they're if they don't get any kind of proceeds from this, then they're less likely to put bundles on. But I've gotten I got a really great massive verse bundle on here a while back. And so if you read digital comics, these are really great bundles to get. And so this is definitely one I'm going to be getting, both because um I'm I'm excited about the books, and also because the charity is such a good charity to donate to. So, okay. Now, let me share what we're going to talk about next. We got some books here. Okay. We'll talk about what I've already read. So, Exit City. Let me just give you the rundown from the solicit here. So in Exit City, there's a thin line between good and evil, and detectives McCormick and Miller are about to find out the hard way. And so when they come to the scene of a brutal accident, it becomes clear that the Major Crimes Division was called in for a reason. With minimal evidence, McCormick and Miller must work together through a web of seedy criminals, genetic experiments, and a crooked government. But that's not the only thing standing in their way. McCormick is hiding a secret that would make anyone question his capabilities. So, on one hand, like, yeah, it gives you the vibe of a crime noir type thing. But I think even better um, is that the secret that they're talking about, which this isn't exactly a spoiler because you kind of find out real early on in issue number one, and maybe even in like preview pages, but um, he has here these items in his coat are the memories of his old like black ops team, right? And so they died on a mission, and he speaks to them to help him solve crimes, which I think is just such a cool idea. And so like I had read the first issue of this a while back, and when it came out, and really enjoyed it, and then kind of fell behind, but then went back to read the trade paperback because Mad Cave recently announced, as they do every year, their annual talent search, and this was one of the four books that the creators need to submit their work for, or have the option to submit their work for. And so basically, if you haven't heard of the Mad Cave talent search, it's just they will pick two writers, two artists, two colorists, and two letterers from the submissions, and give them put them on a Mad Cave book for the following year. And so basically, for a writer, you have to submit 5 pages of script for or within one of these 4 Mad Cave universes, Exit City being one of them. And then colorists and pencilers and letterers need to do the same thing, also within those universes, right? So I'm actually thinking about submitting for uh, the writing portion of this. Not much of an artist, but I feel like I've read enough comics that I can kind of try to take a stab at writing some. Um, and so I've started my submission within the Exit City universe. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But the book itself, it's really well done. Um, there's it basically takes a turn that you, and that's what I put right here, took a turn I did not expect. Um, I do think the pacing would have been helped a little bit by adding an issue. The last issue felt just a little bit rushed. But otherwise, like I said, like the concept of having his old black ops team inside his coat, I think is a really cool idea. So definitely worth checking out. It's a quick, easy read. It's less than 100 pages, I think. So, yeah, 88 pages. Yeah. So, real quick, easy read. So, all right, what do we have next here? Power Rangers Prime. And so I don't know if I'll go too far into this because I talked a little bit about it last week, and um I also put the my full review of this volume on the channel. So be sure to check that out. I felt like it was a pretty good starting point. I had a couple folks from the League of Comic Geeks comment on my YouTube channel review that gave me a little extra context. Maybe not stuff that like makes or breaks the enjoyment of the book, but context that I definitely like to have. Right. So I felt like it was a good starting point. I really like Michael Waji's work. Uh, you can see he doesn't have, I mean, he's not like completely new, but he doesn't have a ton of credits to his name. When we look at his comics here, it's, I mean, not a lot. And that says 96, but I think there's a lot of those are just variants. But um, I mean, he's done a couple of things like for Iron Fist and Shang-Chi. But I imagine that he's gonna show up in a big way before you know it. So, and then Melissa Flores, I posted this on the league fairly recently, but I think that I think she's underrated, or maybe just you know, not as well known as I think she should be. Right? I mean, she's been putting out a lot of good books, and I've enjoyed everything I've read of hers, with the exception of Radiant Pink. Other than that, like everything else she writes is really great. So definitely worth checking out. And so that's all really all I read over the last week. It's just been kind of a rather busy week, so there wasn't a whole lot of time for extra reading. Plus, the only pull I had was Space Ghost, which got delayed. So, and then also my store has like not been getting any Dynamite books. Also, I picked up a copy of Marvel Knights: The World to Come, which I have not dove into yet, but honestly, the art looks gorgeous. Which it's a Joe Quesada, if I hopefully pronouncing that right, um, and it looks like it's going to be really good. And then I also picked up Amazing Spider-Man #5, which I still didn't get my copy of #4, which is a bummer. But I should be able to find a copy of that pretty easily. I mean, it's got to be one of the highest printed books out there, right? So coming up this week, it says the face-off you demanded between Optimus Prime and Spoiler is here. I don't know if that's like Megatron or what. Um, I mean, uh, look, I hope it's not a new character, or not new, but someone that hasn't made an appearance yet, just because I'm like a little zonked out with all these Transformers. But that is a sick cover. I love that cover. I don't know who that's supposed to be on the front. Is that supposed to be Shredhead? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, that's a cool cover there. Is that a Jetfire cover? Yeah, I think so. That's a cool cover. Oh, and then we've got the connecting. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the writing has it's still a good book. It's I think the biggest problem is it's far from being what I consider to be by far the best book on the shelves, and it's kind of not that anymore. So we've got Batman and Robin number 22, which Damian Wayne is in trouble. Um, and we've got Etrigan when seeking the demon. Trust not the word of man. Place your faith in me, the demon Etrigan. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Good looking cover. Again, we have Robin scratched out here, which is cool. But yeah, I'm not sure this should still tie into the Memento stuff, I would hope. But Philip Kennedy Johnson's been rocking this book for sure. It's been really great. Let's see. Aquaman. Big Blue Battle Royale. Can the power. Oh, you know what? Actually, hold on. Let's take a step back here because I forgot that we can look at some previews. So, no preview pages for Transformers. But let's look at these preview pages. Oh, and Damien talking to that Atticus Bly. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right. And he calls him Jack, which is what Bruce went by when he was over there learning. Oh, man. Holy smokes, this looks good. We get some background into Atticus, Professor Bly. Yeah. Oh, man. Professor, how are you alive? That's sick. Oh, man. That's going to be so good. Let's look at Aquaman. So big blue battle royale. Can the power of Thalassa, the Trilance saber, be enough? Which is so cool. All right, Aquaman turning his trident into a sword is just awesome. Now, I don't feel like we've gotten the kaiju battles that we were promised, but I hope that this is on the way, or that we're going to see it here. So enough to unite Aquaman and his people. It better be, because if King Arthur is to have a prayer of seeing Atlantis again, he's going to need to hurry. The mystery of the pearl deepens, the power of the dark tide grows, and a major step on the path to the next big DCU event is taken in this epic chapter of the Dark Tide saga. So, like I said early on, I think that this book is going to be an important part of what's going on, what happened with Darkseid in the All In special. So, oh, that's some great lettering there. I like that lettering a lot. Let's see what else we got here. There's that Dagon. Treachery spreads like a cancer, one that must be destroyed at its source. Jeremy Adams spitting fire. Oh, dang. So they're really setting Dagon up to be like pretty powerful. So I have to say I'm pretty hyped about that. And look at that art. That's gorgeous. That's fantastic. And then we go back to the beginning there. Yeah, that's sick. And then we get Absolute Batman #9. All new Arc M starts here. The latest development in saving the derelict and despondent of our society is a facility known as Arc M, a fully operational institution that has played a rather sizable part, on purpose or not, in the creation of evil. And it's active. So when Bruce tries to infiltrate it and distill its secrets, a new villain from Gotham City arrives to deal with the problem. An old adversary of Alfred's, a man only known as Bane. I think my only issue is, and so, like, I might eat my words here because I also felt this about Mr. Freeze, but Bane is such a good character the way that he is that I don't really need an alternate version of him. Like, give us alternate versions of characters that are weaker so that they can be better, you know? But I mean, I think this should still be pretty solid. And I did look at these preview pages already before. And so I do like this a lot, where Bane basically just comes in and he goes, I admit I was genuinely elated when I heard whispers about these peace talks, which is why I was so crushed to hear about their breakdown when one of you betrayed the other in this very room, killing him and plunging your countries back into war. And then he like snaps at him. He's like, you can't just threaten us. And the other guy gives him up immediately. And then we get some like pretty horrifying stuff, which goes back to the Scott Snyder horror roots that we've seen plenty of times before. So I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see like what Bane's deal is, and like it's crazy. But yeah, that should be pretty good. Yeah, so that's all I had for coming up. I do think we should check out some other books and see what else is going on. So okay. All right, let's just start from the top here at Marvel. All right, so I don't see anything new in the recently announced, although I don't recall seeing that Scrooge McDuck, Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck. Oh, and yeah, and so it's written by Jason Aaron, so Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, which he wrote that. I still need to check that out. Planet has been conquered by alien invaders. The connoisseurs, nefarious hoarders, the rarest antiquities from throughout the cosmos. As they tear the Earth apart, pillaging its fabled treasure, the only world's greatest adventure can possibly stop them. But Scrooge McDuck is facing a battle unlike any he's ever fought, trapped inside his own mind, fighting to preserve his most precious memory. That's wild. That might be worth checking out. I mean, I'm very much of the mind that anything Jason Aaron is at least worth looking into. So, X-Men Tooth and Claw. How did two of mutant kind's most dangerous villains become part of Cyclops' X-Men? When they met across the battlefield, Henry McCoy and Max Eisenhart were a brilliant, jovial athlete turned superhero and mutant revolutionary, respectively. Are we calling Beast one of the most dangerous villains of all time? Oh, it's from a Infinity comic. Okay, so we could just go read the Infinity comic on Marvel Unlimited. Yeah, Thor. I think that's got to be new Thor then. Yeah. So I wonder what happened to the Immortal Thor. Imperial War. Marvel All on One. Sorry. The Thing versus the Marvel Universe. Final Order Cutoff. Yeah, not a ton. Not a ton from a Marvel standpoint. Let's check out DC. Warriors in a Wee Wonder. I mean, that looks like a kind of a young reader type of thing, so that could be good. I feel like I added this Justice League Red, and there was a reason that I added it. I mean, I like the creative team a lot. I've been looking for more Cyborg stuff. I like the roster. I mean, it's a roster of lesser known characters. So we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, Gotham by Gaslight, Titans, Nightwing. What do you mean recently announced? Okay. Yeah, we're still. Oh, it's the annual. Okay. I'm caught up on Nightwing now. But Final Order Cutoff reminders. Superman Treasury. I don't know how much this is going to be. Yeah, $15. But it's oversized. I mean, and Dan Jurgens is pretty great with Superman. I really like Bruno Redondo's Superman too. So, yeah. Dark Tomorrow. Oh, I feel like maybe I need to pick this up. In the wake of the We Are Yesterday crossover epic, a mysterious quantum quorum has emerged, stalked by a lethal enemy that takes no prisoners. The League deputizes a ragtag group of time-displaced heroes like Batman Beyond, Gold Beetle, and Helena Wayne to fill the void left behind by the Time Masters and save this quorum from the mysterious death that's picking off time travelers one by one. These Legends of Tomorrow are the only ones standing in the way of this cascading chronal Armageddon, with the past, present, and future teetering on the brink in this oversized special leading to the next big DC all-in event. And I am interested in that. And so actually what we're going to do here, friends, is add that to the old pull list. Okay. We got some annuals. Immortal Legend Batman. That's a tempting one. Oh, and you know what? Let's do it. Let's just add that to my pull list. You're witnessing live how weak I am when it comes to exciting books. And there's some Looney Tunes. That's cool. Oof. Okay, let's see what else these other publishers have. Image. I feel like I haven't read a whole lot of Image lately. Feature releases this week. I don't know much about Free Planet. I know Taylor Esposito. I don't know the rest of that team. Caught between rival superpowers with conflicting ideas of what freedom entails and supplies running dangerously low, the Freedom Guard has discovered that defending liberty is even more difficult than winning it. Their newest member claims to have solutions, but is the enigmatic Jackson Crater a violent terrorist, a noble freedom fighter, or something else entirely? What's the first one look like? The first completely free planet in human history has won its independence. Yeah. Guess we will see. Maybe I'll check that out if I come across a copy of it. Lost Fantasy looked pretty good. Recently announced titles. This is not really any different than last week. Yeah. Final Order cutoff reminders. Dread the Hall, that's coming up. Invisible Man. The Man Who Dreamt the Impossible, a tribute to Jack Kirby. That looks pretty cool. Jack King is the eldest in the care home, a prodigy of imagination, always telling fascinating stories, but recently suffering from extreme fatigue and lack of motivation. Then comes Mike, a young orderly who will help restore Jack's spirit in his much-loved library, a place fallen into disarray and near abandonment, certainly not unrelated to the sinister pestilence lurking on its shelves. A fictionalized tribute to Jack Kirby, to the men who better took care of his work, and to others who suffered the same creative and editorial constraints throughout their careers. That looks pretty cool. Let's see. IDW. Ninja Turtles. Star Trek. Ninja Turtles. It rhymes with Tai K. Chaotix 30th anniversary. I think I mentioned that last week. Apart from that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Journeys. Casey Jones. I wonder if this is going to tie into the regular book or not. You know what? We're going to go nuts here. All right. It's because I'm weak. All right. And I don't want to hear any judgment from any of you. Actually, you can judge me all you want. I don't care. All right. Not much else for IDW. Let's see what Dynamite's got going on. Hercules trade. Space Ghost hardcover. Space Ghost trade, or Space Ghost trade, rather. New Stitch series. None of this is new from last week. Final Order cutoff reminders. Oh, so Space Ghost. Yeah, see, I'm on it already. Yeah, so the Final Order cutoff for Space Ghost is coming up. So make sure you don't miss it. Distillery. I never get anything Distillery. It's just too rich for my blood, you know. Yeah, and not a lot coming from them. Dark Horse. You know what? I feel like Taylor Talks Comics, another great YouTube channel, so check him out. He mentioned this on one of the Indie Solicit shows that I did with Near Mint Condition, and said that this was really great, and this does look really good. And so, oversized case bound with a dust jacket for $40. I mean, it's only 136 pages, but it's really nice looking. So that's coming out this week. That looks pretty cool. Some Star Wars there. Frankenstein recently announced. Let's see. Magic the Gathering, Masters of the Universe, More Powers. There's another Humble bundle of that too going on, with a bunch of stuff from Brian Michael Bendis. So Final Order cutoff reminders. Got some Hellboy stuff. That Masterminds. Not anything crazy. So Boom Studios. Oh, nice. Something is Killing the Children. Okay, so I may or may not get a review out of that one. So we'll see if I can find the time for that. I don't know what this black badge is. First Boy Scout to get every merit badge offered except one. The one you don't get, the one you become. The Black Badge, a top secret branch sent off to accomplish missions that adults never could. Kenny, Cliff, Mitz, and Willie may look like scouts who lost their tour group, but they're actually one of the most elite teams working for the government. But there are many secrets kept from them: the location of a long presumed dead former member, the roles of other Rainbow Jamboree participants, and ultimately the murderer of one of their own. Okay. I mean, that seems pretty interesting. Definitely could be worth checking out. And I'm going to get caught up on Power Rangers Prime. You see, Power Rangers Prime number 7 came out this past week, so I need to make sure that I get back on that. I mean, not a ton from Titan. Now, here's what's interesting. We've got Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, and Gail Simone is writing it. I just may check this out. I, to be honest, have not heard great things about the movie, but I'm a massive Zack Snyder fan. But maybe I need to see the movie because this looks like it's for a specific person. So let's see. I don't know if there are other Rebel Moon comics. It looks like there was some here. Prequel. And let's see, we got Zack Snyder. I mean, not rolling it out. Not rolling it out. Xenoscope's not really my taste, so I'm not gonna dive into that one. Catacomb of Torment. Yeah, kind of the same stuff as last week. Oh, I just did Oni Press. I don't really do Archie much. Okay, let's see. Let's dip into Mad Cave. Again, kind of similar stuff. Wild Animals was great. Final Order Cutoff on that's coming up here. So I do think I'll try to get a review out on that soon so that people can add it to the pull list if they so choose. And don't forget your briefcase looks interesting. And those are just all the current titles, I guess. Okay. Well, I believe that that's all I really have. I did not get much conversation surrounding the Change My Mind, but that's all right. That's why we keep it going, keep streaming. I'm just noticing that my wife's old American Girl dolls are in the back here. So I don't know if that creeps anybody else out or not, but they're not bad. I don't get creeped out by them, but okay. All right. I appreciate everyone tuning in, and I am always grateful for all the views, all the likes and the subscribers. So make sure you check out the other videos on my channel, and thanks so much everyone for watching. Talk to you later.